Hey everyone, Shabby Gamer here, and welcome back to another episode of our WWE 2K16 Universe Mode. And as you can see, this is our last stop until we hit the Extreme Rules pay-per-view coming up this Sunday. Now I do apologise, once again this video has been uploaded a little bit late. It's been a bit of a hellacious week for me at work, and I've not got home till about 8 o'clock every single night, so my uploads have taken a little bit of a hit, but hopefully this weekend I'll catch back up, and everything should go back on track next week. Now, I think as far as our Extreme Rules pay-per-view goes for Smackdown, we've already sorted, really. We know it's going to be Austin defending the Smackdown Championship against Shawn Michaels. We also know that AJ Styles is defending the Intercontinental Championship against Bray Wyatt. And it's going to be Lita defending the Women's Championship against Paige. We do still have to figure out our tag team #1 contender, and that will happen this evening. But this is the card we've got set for you. Of course, the Intercontinental Champion AJ Styles, who will be taking on Bray Wyatt at Extreme Rules. Tonight takes on one of Wyatt's henchmen in Braun Strowman. Then in match number 2, that is going to be our #1 contendership match. Of course, last week, the Bushwhackers pulled out a victory against the New Age Outlaws. The week before that, the Dudley Boys defeated Demolition. So today, the Bushwhackers face off against the Dudley Boys, and the winners will go on to get a match against the Wyatt family soon after our Extreme Rules pay-per-view. Match number 3, we're going to see JBL taking on Tatsumi Fujinami. Match 4, we've got the Ultimate Warrior, The Miz, and Shawn Michaels in a triple threat match. A bit of a random one, that. The game created that, I must admit. Then we're going to see a culmination of a couple of feuds, of course, because we've got championship matches tied in for our pay-per-view. These are going to be the end of the feud. So we're going to have Cody Rhodes versus Austin Aries. We're going to have Batista versus Luke Harper. And then our main event, why not? It doesn't mean anything for the pay-per-view, but just why not? Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. Yeah, I did it. That's going to happen tonight. Right, so normally we do 3 or 4 matches. Today we're actually going to do 4 matches, I think. Because I've got a bit of time, you know. We're actually going to skip this first one, AJ Styles versus Braun Strowman. And Braun Strowman picks up a massive victory for him. Wow, that's going to dent AJ's sort of momentum going forward to the Extreme Rules pay-per-views as well. That's a big win, that is for Braun. A big win for Bray Wyatt as well. We're going to skip JBL versus Tatsumi Fujinami. And we're going to skip the triple threat as well, which Shawn Michaels, of course, who's going on to Extreme Rules to face off against Austin, picks up a massive win there as well. So, the 4 matches we're going to watch today is the Tag Team #1 contendership match. The end of the feud between Cody Rhodes and Austin Aries. The end of the feud between Batista and Luke Harper. And then our big main event, Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. So, without further ado, let's get straight into our first match. And there is that first match. Like I said, it's the Bushwhackers, Butch and Luke, taking on the Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray and Devon, for the chance to face off against the Wyatt family for the Tag Team Championships. And here we go. Now, this will be the first time that I've actually seen the Bushwhackers on this game. Not used them so far, and it's good to have them because I have created them on several games in the past, but it's very, very difficult to get their mannerisms and their moves correct, and obviously, because we've downloaded them, they're spot on. Attire-wise, you can do yourself on the game and the community creations and things like that are generally quite good, but like I say, now I've actually got them on the game as downloadable characters. Like I say, you've got the right entrance. I know the entrance has been on the game a few times the last few years, but it's the mannerisms in the ring, that's a big thing as well. And of course, they picked up a massive win last week against the New Age Outlaws. Could we see the Bushwhackers versus the Wyatt family for the Tag Team Championships? What a match that would be. Absolutely incredible match that would be. I can imagine it would be all action. But here we go. What's this match going to be like? Is the Battle of the Camo. We've got the Bushwhackers. And I'm going to have the same problem here with the Bushwhackers that I generally have with the Usos. I don't honestly know which Bushwhacker's which, so a lot of the time we're just going to use the word Bushwhacker, I think. I can't think of a better way to describe them. We've got Bushwhacker and Bushwhacker. That's what I do with Usos. Maybe Uso 1 and Uso 2. But of course here we have the Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray and Devon. Now Devon looks really good in this game. It seems to be the same thing if you look on the community creations. Everyone can make a really, really good Devon. But everyone seems to struggle with Bubba for some reason. I'm not going to take the mick out of anyone because at the end of the day, I can't create cores to save my life. I am very much using other people's hard work to create these episodes, and I do thank all you guys out there that do make my cores. And it amazes me, actually, some people have actually commented on my videos saying I'm actually using the one they've created. And that's so, it's so amazing to think that people have found my videos just by that reason. And there was, I know one of the main ones was Die Hard Detroit. He was one that turned up. He was creating quite a lot of indie calls, and he had some cracking calls that we're going to use very, very soon on this as well, because we are bringing some indie guys in. Of course, if you've not checked out our Nitro roster, they've had 4 brand new tag teams come in over the last couple of weeks. We saw the Young Bucks, Kaz and Daniels coming in last week, and this episode just gone that was uploaded on the previous Monday, that saw the debuts of Red Dragon and American Wolves. So yeah, they've got a nice little influx of indie wrestlers, and then I'm not going to give too much away, but I've got some ideas for Smackdown that might see some indie wrestlers joining Smackdown after our first pay-per-view. Not sure if I'm going to actually announce that. I might actually announce what's going to happen at the pay-per-view, you know, because it seems like quite a fun thing to do. So I might announce that at the pay-per-view. It's going to involve quite a few extra episodes of the Smackdown brand as well, which I'm hoping is not going to be too much difficult for me to get recorded. But yeah, I think it's going to be quite fun. We're going to do quite a few extra episodes. Then once this is all done, then we'll have quite a few new people. I'm thinking at least 8, maybe even 16 brand new guys on this roster. But I'm not giving away any more details. You'll have to keep an eye out and watch that, because it's going to be very, very fun. As here comes the other Bushwhacker. I've got a feeling this is Butch. I don't know why, but I've got a feeling this is Butch and Luke's on the outside. I used to have so many of these when I was younger. Where you used to have the old 80s wrestling figures, like the short ones, about 4-inch ones. I used to have so many Bushwhackers. But at the point I was quite young, I didn't quite understand what was going on. So I had like a full army of Bushwhackers just taken out of people, like just like 10 Bushwhackers taking down the Ultimate Warrior and stuff like that. Which is difficult, because when I was collecting wrestling figures, I had a massive group of these sort of older ones, the late 80s ones. But when I was watching wrestling, I very much got into wrestling in the late 90s, of course, the Attitude Era, as a lot of people did. And all the people that I had, figures-wise, weren't wrestling. So it wasn't until I got a little bit older and started delving into the history of wrestling and all sorts of stuff like that I started to realise who it is I've got. And you even do that now. It's strange, because I've seen, like I've got a friend who collects them still, and he's just got such an amazing array of some that I've never even seen before. He's got people like Andre the Giant and Yokozuna, which I've never even seen before in the old 80s figures. I've still got a couple knocking around here. I've got on my shelf over there, I've got Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, I've got Hulk Hogan, and I've got Brutus the Barber Beefcake as well. I just saw them on a car boot a few weeks back and thought, you know what, I'm going to grab them. I used to collect loads. I had absolutely loads and loads and loads of... I've still got all my figures, actually. All my figures in my parents' loft still. I must have... I think I counted the ones I had 210, and every single figure is a different person. So I had quite a collection. And I used to collect all the videos and DVDs as well. I sold them to my mate eventually, and he brought all them off me. Especially once the network came out, it wasn't really worth it. I still collect a lot of wrestling DVDs, but it's nothing WWE or WCW now, because obviously they're all on the network. There's no point. I collect a lot of Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, Combat Zone Wrestling, Ring of Honor, all that sort of stuff. Some UK stuff as well. So yeah, as you do, I'm a bit of a collector. Once I get myself into something, I'll collect the hell out of it. Like at the moment, I've not done one for years, but I've just started doing the Euro 2006 sticker book, and I've got so many, because I've never done a sticker book in my life where I can actually buy the stickers myself. The last time I did a sticker book, I was still in school. So now I'm doing it now, and obviously because I'm working full time and I'm on a pretty good wage, because like I say, I got a promotion a few weeks back, and there we go, Dudley Boys have won this one. Yeah, I'm on a pretty good wage. I got a promotion a few weeks back, and I brought myself about 30 packs of stickers today alone, so I've got about a 4-inch pile of stickers to stick in at some point this weekend. But yeah, great win here for the Dudley Boys. I must admit, I expected this to be the result, and yeah, it's pretty good. I'm a bit confused by Bubba Ray Dudley's finisher maneuver. I'm not quite sure that's the right one for him. I'm sure I've changed it a couple of times now, but it seems to keep coming back. I changed it to the Bubba Bomb and the Bubba Cutter, but for some reason he's still using that move. I need to go back and double check that to make sure I've not accidentally downloaded something else over the top of it by mistake. But yeah, good win for them. Like I said, it's sort of what I expected. And you know what? I'm thinking... See, it's going to be difficult for us. Is it? No, it's not, is it? We're going to have 6 weeks between Extreme Rules. No, we're not. So I'm just trying to think in my head now. What are we doing? We've only got 2 weeks between Extreme Rules and SmackDown's next pay-per-view. That is going to be our Over the Edge pay-per-view. So maybe this can be our first match for Over the Edge. Maybe it can be the Dudley Boys versus the Wyatt family over the Edge. Maybe some sort of gimmick match. Maybe a tables match. Who knows? Who knows? That's only 3 weeks away, so that's definitely something we could do. And then depending on the result, maybe we can move into a tag team feud after the pay-per-view, go up to the next pay-per-view. Yeah, that's a good idea, but they're number one contenders now. We either do that, we hold on and give them the tag team match at Over the Edge, or we do give them the tag team match next week on SmackDown, and then should the Wyatt family lose the title, then they can have a rematch at Over the Edge, and if the Wyatt family retain the championship, then maybe we can look to... to try and work up another number one contender for the championship. That might be the best bet to do anyway. Right, so into our next... Well, I'm saying that I'm going to take a little bit of a break now because I've just realised that the Battlefield 5 world premiere is about to go live. So I'm going to stop recording. Not that it's going to matter to you because I'm going to come straight back into... I don't know why I'm telling you this really, am I? Okay, well, let's go straight into the next match. And I'm going to take a break. See you in a minute. Or see you in a second. I'm just going to stop talking. Let's go for it. And I am back here for match number 2. It's going to be Cody Rhodes taking on Austin Aries. Now, these two guys have been feuding over the past few weeks since we started our Universe mode. So it'd be great to see the culmination of that feud right here this evening. And here we go. It was a hell of a big gap though. I was only meant to stop watching. I only meant to stop recording for like a couple of minutes so I could watch the Battlefield trailer, then come back and carry on. But I didn't realise the Battlefield trailer ended up with an entire sort of sit-down question and answer session, that sort of baloney. So I ended up watching it for about an hour and a half. So time has disappeared here a little bit, and hopefully we can get back on track here. And for those of you who are interested, you probably know if you are a Battlefield fan by now, but the new Battlefield game is going to be based on World War I, which looks pretty damn awesome actually. Seeing the trailer looks incredible, so looking forward to that. Due out in October. Same sort of time that WWE 2K17 will probably be out as well. Now I do apologise if, like just then, you heard a very loud car. Obviously, because of the weather now, I've had to actually crack a window open in my flat for the first time in God knows how long. So I'm going to get a little bit of background noise. Hopefully not too much. I'm on a bit of a main road, so sometimes it's normally fine. But if you get somebody who's decided it was a good idea to spend lots of money on getting a bigger exhaust pipe and making lots of noise, then it's quite loud for me. But here we go, Austin Aries. The guy, I've still not changed his blimmin' entrance. I keep forgetting every single week. He's still got the generic Colin Cassidy entrance. I can't believe I've forgotten to do that. How annoying is that? Okay. Doesn't matter too much. We'll get by. And yeah, this feud's been going... It's been a pretty of an odd feud, this one. A really odd feud, this one. So I think we might just skip the end of the entrance here anyway, I think. There we go. At least you don't see the Colin Cassidy soft thing then. Yeah, it's been quite an interesting feud, this one. A bit of an odd one because it's not really been a very rivalry feud. I think they've both gained each other's confidence. They've both gained each other's respect, and they've actually become allies out of it. So it's a bit of an odd one. So really, it's been a very competitive feud rather than an aggressive one. So it's been a different type of feud to what we're used to normally seeing, and I think it's been quite nice. It's not very often you see feuds like that. And I think it is based sometimes on the heel and face status of the guys involved in the feud. That's something you've always got to look out for, and that's something I do want to bring up. If you are having trouble with feuds, because I've had it a few times now, where you create a feud in the feud screen, and you go into the matches, and the feud's not there. You go back into the feud screen, and the feud just created has disappeared as well, and you can't figure out why, or rivalry, shall I say, in this game. And you can't figure out why your rivalry's disappeared. And I spent ages and ages and ages on this, and I finally sussed it out. The game will automatically delete the rivalry if you do not have face versus heel. I think in some cases you can do face versus face, but it will just delete it if you've done the wrong combination. That's some of the... If you are in trouble with your rivalries, then check that out, because that fixed it straight away for me. I went in, I changed the crowd reaction of some people to face and heel so we could get some better feuds on the go. And yeah, it worked quite nicely after that. Austin Aries in firm control of this match at the moment with the punches to the face. Remember, Cody Rhodes is currently the leader of the faction, I can't remember now, Dashing, Pretty Perfect and Dashing, that is it. Of course, we've got Cody Rhodes, we've got Tyler Breeze, and we've also got Ty Dillinger. Maybe going into next month, we can start to use Ty Dillinger and Tyler Breeze more as a tag team and see how they get on. We need to try and sort of mix up our tag team division a little bit. Of course, we know now that the Dudley Boys will be taking on the Wyatt family for those tag team championships. I'm thinking we'll do that next week on Smackdown, and then we can build up to maybe another tag team match maybe at the pay-per-view. I think that's possible, yeah. I think our next pay-per-view, of course, Over the Edge, we're not going to have a lot of time to build up to Over the Edge, so I'm thinking what we might do is we might end up with some multi-man matches over there. Or a lion salt there by Cody Rhodes. So I'm thinking maybe we can look at a potential fatal four-way for the championship, or maybe even a bigger match, maybe like an elimination chamber, or saying that elimination chambers are dodgy as hell, as we saw in the Thunder first episode when Randy Orton was taken for a journey through time and space. I used to love the Mighty Boosh. But yeah, that was really odd. So we could do that, or we could look at maybe a multi-man Hell in a Cell match. But the game's not great on Hell in a Cell matches. It doesn't necessarily. What am I trying to say? It doesn't necessarily use the whole environment to its advantage. Generally, they don't break out the cell, and it's generally a little bit of a messy finish. So we'll have to have a look at that, see what we fancy doing. I'm thinking maybe Fatal 4-Way or Elimination Chamber could be the best way to go. Because, like I said, because we've only got 2 weeks of build-up. And that's because, obviously, we're mixing and matching the combinations of pay-per-views. We've seen this month, we've seen Nitro and Thunder shared the first pay-per-view, which was fully loaded a couple of weeks ago. And then we saw... And then we're going to see, of course, Raw and Smackdown share the pay-per-view this coming Sunday, so only a few days away now, which is going to be Extreme Rules. Then, obviously, we've got Over the Edge in a couple of weeks' time, and that is going to be shared between Smackdown and Thunder. And then we've got Payback at the end of the month, which is shared between Nitro and Raw. And again, it's just going to keep rotating over and over again. So there is going to be points where we're going to have 6 weeks between a pay-per-view. There'll be points where we've got 2 weeks between a pay-per-view, and then points, of course, we have 4 weeks between a pay-per-view. So Smackdown in this case are going to have... they're going to have 2 weeks leading up to Over the Edge, but then I think they'll have 6 weeks leading up to the next pay-per-view, I believe, which will be shared between themselves and Nitro. I might be wrong. I don't think I planned that far into the future, to tell the honest truth, but yeah. And these two guys now brawling on the outside after Austin Aries hit that big dive, and Cody Rhodes just choking Austin Aries, and all of a sudden it looks like that some of the respect earned by the pair of them seems to be losing a bit of credence here. As Cody Rhodes taking Aries up, and there's the Alabama Slam. I wish I could get rid of that white square on Cody Rhodes' chest. Oh, almost a 3 count from that. And both guys slightly back up to their feet. Cody Rhodes sending Austin Aries into the corner. Now takes him up onto that top turnbuckle. What's Rhodes got planned here? He's looking for a muscle buster. Is that a muscle buster? It is. He hits the muscle buster. Where on earth did that come from? Cody Rhodes sending a message there to Nitro Samoa Joe by the looks of it. In for the pin he goes. 1, 2. Only enough for a 2 count. But where on earth did Cody Rhodes get a bloody muscle buster from? And now here he is. There is the Crossroads, and surely that's going to be enough for Cody Rhodes to pick up the victory here over his rival Austin Aries. 1, 2, and 3. And of course it is. Cody Rhodes comes out of this rivalry on top, and does that make him a potential contender maybe to the championship? And there we go, another handshake. Great way to end this feud. Both these guys really built a lot of respect for each other. Cody Rhodes is picking up the victory, but of course Austin Aries magnanimous. Magnanimous, is that the right word? In defeat. Either way, yeah, it's been a good little challenge this, and I think Intercontinental Championship wise, maybe AJ Styles and Bray Wyatt need to be looking at this guy because he's done very well here. But talking of Intercontinental Championship wise, Luke Harper in the next match is another one that could be a possibility. Let's get straight into that match. Or maybe not. Let's get into the rivalry result. Respect. After earning a tough win, Cody Rhodes demonstrated commendable sportsmanship to his opponent, Austin Aries. So as I said, these guys have actually become allies now, which is a bit odd. I never really expected that, and Cody Rhodes has picked up a hot streak as well, so he's looking pretty good, Cody Rhodes, and Austin Aries has become less egotistical, less disrespectful, and less cowardly from that. So it's done pretty well for both these guys, this feud so far, and it's been quite a nice one. So I think what I might try and do moving forward is probably trying to do the feuds around the championships, because obviously at the moment we're only getting 6 matches. We're only getting 3 matches at a pay-per-view for each brand. So those 3 matches are generally tied up with 3 of the championships. So I think if we were to maybe sort of build our feuds around the championships, that might be a little bit better. So if maybe, yeah, we might have to try and. It means I'm gonna have to identify a #1 contender though, rather than them earning the position. But I can do that. It gives us a nice little mixture, I suppose, and I'll try and make sure that everyone gets the chance. And of course, you guys can let me know who you want to see as well. So let's get into that next match. And here is that next match, the finale of the feud here between Batista and a man I greatly miss at the moment in WWE, Luke Harper. What an amazing wrestler Luke Harper is. I don't think he really gets enough plaudits, really. He's a brute force. He's very agile for his size as well. He really is someone that I really think has the ability to go all the way in WWE. The only thing I think he lacks a little bit, and I don't know if he lacks it a little bit or if he just doesn't get the opportunity, but it's mic work. I don't know because if you're with Bray Wyatt, that's, well, basically Bray does all the talking, doesn't he? That's Bray's strong point. I don't know whether Luke Harper on his own could pull out a pretty good promo, but I don't think he needs to. I think Luke Harper has that sort of image about him where you can just sort of have him come out and destroy someone, disappear into silence. He could be that sort of person. And I think that would really suit Luke Harper. I think the best. Well, when Luke Harper won, did he win the Intercontinental? I know he had a run for the Intercontinental Championship, didn't he? And I really hope that he does come back and get that sort of belt, because I really think he deserves it. And of course, being a big man, he must be right at the top of Vince's list of good things. Hence, that's the thing that I found quite comical recently. I know it's only news stories I'm reading, it's only rumours a lot of the time, but wrestling-wise, from what I've read, Vince is not happy with the Vaudevillains. He's not happy with Apollo Crews, and he's not happy with Enzo Amore, but he loves Colin Cassidy. And that just sums Vince up, doesn't it? And I'm saying Colin Cassidy's a bad wrestler. I think Colin Cassidy's great. He's not. I really worried about Colin Cassidy when I first saw him debut in NXT. I thought to myself, here we go, another big guy who can't talk and can't wrestle. He's just going to stand behind the little guy. But Colin Cassidy's got a lot of ability himself, and he's good on the mic as well. But it just shows that Vince just doesn't like the little guys, does he? Enzo Amore is like so over at the moment. He's as over as you could possibly want to be in the WWE, and Vince is not over keen because he doesn't think the gimmick has got lastability. He doesn't think that it'll last. He thinks it's just stupid, and it just shows that it with Vince. But the Vaudevillains, I like the Vaudevillains. I understand that a lot of people don't quite get it. They can be a little bit tedious. I think they're really, really good faces. I don't think as a heel team they're overly strong, but I think as a face team, using some of their gimmick, the old style gimmick to themselves, it could really work out. And Apollo Crews, I'm surprised that Vince is unhappy with Apollo Crews, because he's a big man, he's muscular, he's agile, he's got everything that Vince normally loves. So I'm surprised about that, and I don't know. Don't get me wrong, I'm a little bit annoyed with the way that Crews has been booked so far, because I understand why they do these sort of runs of dominance, but they get very, very boring very, very quickly. Like, I want to see Apollo Crews have a really good match. I don't want to see him wrestle Bo Dallas and then wrestle Heath Slater and then wrestle Adam Rose, because we know he's going to win all the matches because they're trying to put him over. It's just boring week after week. I want to see him put in proper matches. I want to see him winning big matches. That's what I want to see. But enough of all of my qualms about WWE at the moment. Let's get into the finale of this feud here between Luke Harper and Batista. The winner of this one is going to be sitting pretty high up in the rankings of both the Smackdown Championship and the Intercontinental Championship as well. Look at that super kick. And you know what? I actually fancy Luke Harper getting an opportunity actually going for the Smackdown Championship at some point. Maybe we can give him the chance to qualify for whatever match we do it over the edge. I'm completely up for that. I'm a massive Luke Harper fan. like I said, and I've got no worries about giving him that opportunity. And of course, we had the big win earlier on for Braun Strowman against AJ Styles. Just shows how strong the Wyatt family are. Of course, at the moment, Braun Strowman is one half of the tag team champions alongside Eric Rowan. We've got Luke Harper here in a big feud with Batista. He's actually beat him on a couple of occasions as well. And of course, we've got Bray Wyatt going for the Intercontinental Championship at our Extreme Rules pay-per-view. And Luke Harper looking to get a little bit of extreme there, but decides against it, drops the ring steps. And I would like if next year the rivalry system would work a little bit more dynamically. I want to try and see... What I want to see is I want to see guys use other people, if that makes sense. So if I'm in a stable like Luke Harper, for example, Harper's in a stable and Batista's on his own, I want that feud to include the rest of the Wyatt family having a go at Batista. Maybe having Eric Rowan at ringside, Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt all at ringside, trying to support him. And I think that would be a much better way of going. I'd also like to see bigger feuds as well. So instead of just having a singles feud and having a tag team feud, I'd like to see sort of like a triple threat feud. I know it doesn't happen very often, but we could do that. Or I'd like to see a fatal four-way feud, which at the moment is happening quite often. At the moment, we've got the Intercontinental Championship picture, of course, in WWE, where it looks like we're going to end up with Cesaro versus The Miz versus Zayn versus Owens for the Intercontinental Championship. And that looks like that's going to happen. I like to do that sort of thing, but the one thing I really want to put into this game is rivalries for stables. I would like to, if I've got a full stable of 5 guys and a full stable of 5 guys, I would like to feud those 2 stables together. And I know that might be a little bit more difficult for WWE to do, but you don't have to do 5-on-5 matches. You just mix and match them, don't you? That's the way you can do it. A couple of tag teams here and there, and singles matches. And at the end of the day, what they could always do is something I've actually wanted for a long time now. Is they've sort of half got it in the stables menu. When you create a stable, you can say, I want to put this person in the tag team, and then these 3 people are other members. Well, I want to sort of extend that. I want to have tag team, leader, enforcer, just different roles in the stable, and those roles can then pass on into the rivalry system. Should we have sort of stable rivalries, I think that would work really, really well. So you could have, for example, like we've got the Wyatt family. I've changed obviously slightly. Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman as your tag team, Luke Harper as your enforcer, and Bray Wyatt as your leader. Or you could even go Eric Rowan and Luke Harper as the tag team, Braun Strowman as the enforcer, Bray Wyatt as the leader, and you could do it that way. It's a lot of different ways of doing it, and you could do the same thing, I suppose, with NWO. You could say, but you could also do, what I would like to see is sort of 2 tag teams as well. So if you want to do, for example, if you want to do sort of like the old Bullet Club, you could have tag team 1 as Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson, tag team 2 as the Young Bucks, then you've got AJ Styles as the leader, you've got Kenny Omega. So there really is a way you could really just build it all up that way. And there's a big spear by Batista, and it's not quite enough to keep him down. Both guys back up to their feet now. Batista, the belly-to-belly slam, the belly-to-Bailey. Batista now bringing Harper back up to his feet, and a massive knee to the face. Well, that's what I was saying earlier on the match, the agility of this man, Luke Harper. Hitting a big drop kick there. Bringing Batista into the middle of the ring, and there's a sidewalk slam taking him down as well. So Luke Harper there, just in a combination of moves, showing his agility with the drop kick, and then his strength for that sidewalk slam as well. And Harper just clotheslines. Oh, we're gonna see it. Are we gonna see it? Oh, go on, Harper. There's the agility. The big man flies through the middle ropes and taking Batista down. I'm a massive fan of Luke Harper, and this match has showed exactly why. Now sending Batista off the ring post. It's just such a great mixture of styles. You've got the agility, you've got the strength, you've got the aggressiveness. Now just using the environment to his advantage as well. Luke Harper is an absolute machine. Now what's he got planned? I'll just punch in Batista in that corner and continue the boot to the back, but Batista's back up. Both guys back in as the referee gets up to about 6 count, and Luke Harper there just crashed and burned, I'm afraid. There's no other way to even determine what happened there. No black box needed for that one. Oh, that could be game, set, match though. Batista launches Luke Harper up into the air, catches him with a spear. It's a good win for Batista, but by no means did Luke Harper put himself in a bad light here. He had a fantastic match. He showed some incredible ability, some great agility. That dive through the ropes is just insane. Some great strength as you see on show there as well. But it eventually was Batista using his veteran knowledge, I suppose, using his experience to just pick his moment and catch Luke Harper in that elevated spear. Just it was I love these new elevated moves, just lifting people up and dropping them into those aggressive moves. That was the first spear. Wasn't enough to keep Harper down for the 3 count though. And that's where it all sort of went pear-shaped for Luke Harper. He missed that crossbody. And yeah, it was all downhill from there. Batista launches him off the ropes, brings him in, up into the air, then catches him in the spear. Beautiful move. Not quite sure if the ref should have counted that, because you can't quite see from this angle, but Luke Harper's head and arm might have actually been underneath the bottom rope, but either way, I don't think he was ever going to kick out of that, so it's not really a major problem, is it, really? So Batista with the victory. That's really got to push him up the rankings and maybe give him some sort of push, maybe towards the next pay-per-view for the championship. Like I said, our next championship match at the Over the Edge pay-per-view is probably going to be some sort of multiple-man match. So yeah, I'm sure Batista will get an opportunity to qualify for that. Let's get into our main event. Another 2 guys who would love to qualify for that number 1 contendership match. I keep forgetting these, don't I? I just keep forgetting these. Let's have a quick look at the end of this feud. So Batista has picked up a momentum boost, because I think he's had a couple of these big wins now. And Luke Harper's also on a... so Batista's on a hot streak. And Luke Harper's on a momentum boost, because Harper had a couple of big victories over Batista as well. So both these guys coming out pretty well out of this feud, really. So yeah, I'm sure it's going to be mutually great for both of these guys. Now let's get into our main event. And here is that main event. Of course, it is going to be Seth Rollins taking on Finn Balor. And of course, Doc Gallows of Bulletproof will be at ringside. And here we go. Of course, Finn Balor, well, both these guys really be wanting a little bit of a boost going forward. Seth Rollins had the opportunity to win the Smackdown Championship in the very first episode here. He lost in that Fatal 4-Way match, and Stone Cold Steve Austin picked up the victory. He also had the opportunity the week after that, or was it? No, was it? Yeah, it was the week after. Was it last week? No, it was the week after, week number 2 of our Universe mode. He fought Shawn Michaels for the number 1 contendership for the SmackDown Championship and lost that as well. So it's not been a great time for Seth Rollins, and of course last week as well, he lost to Stone Cold Steve Austin. So Rollins so far has main evented 3 episodes of SmackDown and he's lost every single match. So he's going to be desperate for a win here this evening. Another man who's been pretty much desperate for a win is going to be Finn Balor, of course, as well. Finn had the opportunity to win the Intercontinental Championship on night number 1 of our Universe mode. Was unsuccessful in that, lost it to AJ Styles. And this is only his 2nd appearance, I think. Oh, no, he actually lost to Braun Strowman. No, he lost to... what am I doing here? I am well lost here. Hang on a minute. Hang on a cotton picking minute. Right. So, AJ Styles defeated Finn Balor on episode number 1. Yeah, okay. Okay, right, I see. Yeah, okay, I know what's going on now. Finn Balor lost to AJ Styles on week number 1. He then lost to Bray Wyatt in the Intercontinental Championship number 1 contendership in week number 2 Last week he did not feature on the card at all, unfortunately. So he's back here this evening. This is his make or break night as well. So both these guys desperate for a win. It could really kickstart both their careers. But like I said, I think both of them will also be involved at some point in the number one contendership challenge. However we determine to do that, whether we go for a 6-man match or we go for a fatal 4-way or however we sort of do it, I'm thinking Over the Edge might be a good name for a Hell in a Cell match, don't you think? Because if you think the guy stood on the top of the cell just looking over the edge, sort of makes sense, I suppose. Sort of makes sense. Or I suppose we could do like a 4-man or a 6-man ladder match as well, or do we save that for TLC later on in the year? It's difficult, I suppose. I think with only 2 weeks of build-up, I think you've got to go for either a really rushed one-on-one match or a multi-man match. It might also depend on who wins. If Austin defends the championship successfully, then maybe we might go for a multi-man match. Should Shawn Michaels win it, it's a little bit unfair for Shawn Michaels to have to defend it 2 weeks after he wins it in a massive sort of 6-man match. But yeah, we're not interested in fairness, I suppose, are we? We're all about the entertainment here, and if Shawn Michaels only holds the belt for 2 weeks, then so be it, I suppose. I'm sure he'll get it back at some point. I'm sure a lot of these titles are going to move around quite a lot in this universe mode. But as players start to build up momentum, they do become more and more dominant. We had this issue last year on 2K15 in my universe mode, where Kenny Omega just became unstoppable. Absolutely unstoppable, the man was. He won the... What did he win? I think he won the battle. He won the Best of the Super Juniors in our Global Force Wrestling brand, which was a 32-man tournament. He won, and then from that he managed to get himself a shot at the Junior Heavyweight Championship, which he then went on to win as well. He then challenged. He then went into the Combat Zone Wrestling Best of the Best tournament, which again he won, and I think he also picked up the Combat Zone Wrestling Television Championship. And I think at one point he also picked up the Ring of Honor Television Championship, and he was just unbeatable to the point where I had to actually go backstage and take some stats off of him just to make it a little bit more sort of even. But at one point I thought he was just going to win everything, because I think at one point, no, I think it was towards the end of the universe mode as well. We had Brian Cage did the same sort of thing. He became really powerful. He won the Intercontinental Championship in Global Force Wrestling in his debut week, I think. And then he went on to win the G1 Climax Festival, which is something I might try and do on here as well. Some sort of... Almost, the G1 Climax Festival is almost like a group stage version of the Bound for Glory series, if you're a TNA fan. So yeah, he did that as well. Then he went on to, on a finale episode, to defend his Intercontinental Championship and fight for the Global Force Wrestling Global Championship in successive matches. And I think he came out with a Global Championship and lost the Intercontinental. It was a crazy time that was. And I don't know how much of an effect the momentum has on these guys. Super kick there by Seth Rollins. We'll have to wait and see, I suppose, see how far it goes on. And a lot of these guys I am mentioning, like, of course, Brian Cage, Kenny Omega, Michael Elgin, a lot of them will be worked into our universe mode over the next few months as well, so don't worry about that. If you do have a favourite you'd like to see quickly, or not necessarily quickly, but if you do have a favourite you'd like to see soon, then please do let me know, and I'll see if I can work them in a little bit quicker. Of course, we've had a few debuts in Nitro this week, like I mentioned earlier. We've had the debut of Red Dragon, the debut of American Wolves, and then last week we had the Young Bucks and the Addiction, Kaz and Daniels. Seth Rollins lining up Finn Balor here. Big boots. And we saw that in my other universe mode, the first series we did here. We saw Dean Ambrose actually lose a match via countout because of that same big boot. It worked so well though. I was so happy when it happened, because I was trying to do a storyline, and the idea of the storyline was to for Dean Ambrose to be written out for a couple of weeks. And somehow the game just sort of knew it, and I put Sheamus against Ambrose, and Sheamus did that move, and I just sold it as a bro kick, and obviously Ambrose was counted out, and it just worked perfectly. We had Ambrose out for a couple of weeks, and then eventually he came back, and it's a shame I had to stop that universe mode, because I had a great idea on that one. I was going to sort of try and bring the Shield back together, and it would have worked as well with with Sheamus sort of pushing his way in front of Seth Rollins in the Authority, and Seth then becoming disillusioned and fighting against Sheamus, and then sort of Ambrose and Reigns to back Seth up. It would have been a great little storyline, actually. But I wonder just how much Finn's going to have left in the locker after that big boot into the ring. But there you go, there's the Seth Walker. That's going to be enough to finish Finn Balor off, surely. Oh, no, it's not. Finn kicked out on the brink of 3 there. Seth with the reverse DDT. Not quite sure what they call that, a reverse DDT, because it's not really a reverse DDT, is it? Seth now rolling. Finn through, and there's the super kick. In for the pin he goes. 1, 2. And there we go. That is enough to finish Finn Balor off. And Seth Rollins ends his losing streak. He does finally pick up a victory here before the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. Of course, he's not going to be part of our pay-per-view unless he is drawn out of the hat to compete in our strange... Well, it's not necessarily going to be a tag match, is it? Unless he's pulled out of the hat to fight in the inter-promotional draft steel match. That was a tongue twister, that one. Which, of course, remember that one. It's going to be Smackdown versus Raw. So one of these two brands is going to take a draft steal off the other. And that could be single star, that could be tag team, could be stable, could be female. Could be anything off the roster that was in the original draft. And more, of course. With some of the new people that have been added. I don't think anyone new's been added into Raw or Smackdown yet. But it's just a way to try and keep all the rosters fresh as well. You never know, we could end up with a really good person coming over here. Raw has got some really, really strong stars up there. But they are lacking a little with young stars. And I think that could be something they'll probably be looking for. Maybe a more of an up-and-coming guy. And because Raw has a lot of legends. So maybe SmackDown could steal 1 or 2 of Raw's legends to help. But of course, they're younger guys. But then again, there's no guarantee. You could end up with Bret Hart and you could end up with Bo Dallas. So it's a really mix and match sort of situation. But there we go. That is the end of this episode. Seth Rollins finally picks up a win in this universe mode. It did come, unfortunately, for Finn Balor against himself. And Finn Balor now lost 3 matches in a row as well. So we'll have to try and figure out a way to try and boost Finn back up. I'm also thinking at some point as well, due to... I started in this universe mode before Gallows and Anderson obviously debuted in the WWE. I, just like everyone else, assumed it was going to be with Finn Balor. But instead he's actually debuted alongside AJ Styles, of course. So I'm thinking of a maybe some sort of way of bringing AJ Styles into that group as well and having them as a 4. I don't know what you guys think of that. Let me know in the comment section below. If you are keen on that, then who knows, maybe we could have a look at it a bit more at Extreme Rules. Because, of course, AJ Styles will be defending his Intercontinental Championship against Bray Wyatt. So, yeah, looking forward to that. It's only a couple of days away now, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. If you are new around here, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss it. Like I said, it'll be uploaded on Sunday. It'll be uploaded as 2 videos, more than likely. We have the first 4 matches and then the 3 matches after that as well on a separate video. Mainly because it's just easier for me to record, edit and upload, and it means if I pay £5 for a new entrance video that I get 2 uses out of it as well. So, yeah, win-win situation for me anyway. Of course, if you have enjoyed this video, then please do hit that like button. It does really help me out, and yeah, it helps me out. My channel's grown so much over the past few weeks, and it's thanks to you guys all hitting that like button, because it makes the video easier for other people to find. When they search WWE 2K16, I'm generally right at the bottom of the list because I'm such a small channel, but as we keep getting more subscribers and keep hitting the like button, the videos go higher and higher up the list, and then we get more views, so it's a win-win situation. I've been Shabby Gamer, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all on Sunday.